Greetings and welcome to Unbanned and very special Warhammer Underworlds video. I've just finished work. It's 9 PM in the UK, and then at 3 o'clock today, Games Workshop randomly updated the Forsaken and Restricted list for Warhammer Underworlds. There's no adjoining article, probably because this was due out tomorrow, and what the Warhammer community team have done in, their preparedness is I'll just secretly upload the new FAR now, and then all my work will be done. But now we see everything. So I'll be going over, and thanks to playtesters, I'll be able to explain some of the choices behind all of these. So before we get into things, please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of all these changes, as well as this new restricted list overall. And, if you want, I've got a Discord you can join in the episode description, as well as a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But let's get into it. This is going to be fun. Also, don't look at the tabs. Ignore the tabs. Look at anywhere else but the tabs. And yes, let's just go into it. So you may be asking, John, well, me, John, how do I know about all these restrictions and why they've been done as all these changes? Well, it's the playtesters. They've literally been saying everything in the Vassal Discord. So if you want to find out, just check there. I mean, Vassal is, if you aren't aware, is like the online simulator for Underworld. It's actually a really cool way to play, especially if you don't have the cards or don't have the community. But besides the point, they've explained everything there, so now we understand their new rationale. And I can tell it's changed, because obviously, I used to be a playtester, but the way they're restricting and even designing cards now has changed, which is shocking, but also in a good way and a bad way, which I'll get into in a minute. So what am I talking about? Basically, according to the playtesters, Games Workshop is now designing cards that should be restricted, as in cards that are purposely powerful, so they will come out and be restricted. Personally, I'm not a fan of this. We originally tested this, and then it didn't work, as you saw with Beastgrave, because the problem you find is when you're writing an overpowered card, especially in Underworlds, it turns out to be way more broken than you realized. Because as you've seen with the Nethermaze releases, there are clearly cards there that are way too powerful and shouldn't have been released. But they have been. And I can kind of respect the philosophy behind that, because, you're like, well, we're purposely going to design powerful cards. But my problem is we've done this before in the past and it has not turned out well, especially if the new plan is to restrict these cards as soon as they come out, or 3 months after they've come out, which is not really cool. It's I get the design philosophy, but I also go, look what happened in the past. You're going to design cards that are just going to be purposely too strong and then turned out broken. And spoilers, they're also banning cards that are now not mechanically broken, but are just too strong for the game. So that's from the playtesters. I'm sure the devs are happy about this, but we'll go through the new FAR. So the only thing that's changed in the deck construction, if they've added Nethermaze, the Nethermaze logo, is pretty much it. Boards have been updated as well. I don't remember the board names, but you can use new boards. That's a huge board pool, by the way. It's very big. That's what she said. And then, your standard unchanged rules for Alliance, best of 3 games, and then we go to the erratas. So, if you look, we have a new Forsaken card, Scant Resources. So yeah, Scant Resources is a Diachasm card. Score this in an end phase if all objectives are held, or each player has no unspent glory points for 2 glory. So on paper, it's pretty much fine. It was restricted. The only problem is, because of the way they've written the Harrowdeep and Nethermaze objectives, is it's very easy to score. But it was actually quite fine as a restricted source, because I've been speaking to other competitive players who've been playing more regularly than I have, and they said the counterplay around this game, this objective, was actually quite fine, especially with the Elathane Soul Raid, who would just put a fish, flip an objective, and it never counts as being held, and you deny 2 glory. So there's a lot of play around this, so I'm shocked this was banned. I don't think it needed to be banned. A lot of people think it's an overreaction, and it may be. It could be unbanned later, but for me, what's shocking about this being banned is it's not mechanically broken, it's what the playtesters and devs feel is too strong for the game, which is changed to how they banned card before, because they would only ban cards that were mechanically broken. So could we see more cards banned? Are they going to ban faction cards? That's what's really interesting for me about this, no matter what you may think. So going back to the restricted cards, we have Berserker Rage from Arena Mortis, Diachasm Arena Mortis. So Berserker Rage is an upgrade, +1 dice and damage to this fighter's range 1 attack actions. And then you skip the defense rolls for this and it's considered rolling 0 defenses. Okay, so it's an accuracy and damage upgrade. So I can see, like, I already thought it was quite good. I do like that they've restricted something from Arena Mortis, because a lot of my detractors said that would never happen. So I'm very, very proud to see this restricted. But I can see why it's restricted. You know, even though you always failed defenses, when you're just going for those instant trades, especially on weaker fighters, it's very strong. So I can see why it's restricted. Then we have Delicious Morsel. So this is choose one fighter, heal 1 that fighter. If that fighter has any hunger counters, instead heal 2, and remove 2 of that fighter's hunger counters, or 1 if they only healed 1. It's really confusing. So according to the playtesters, the methodology behind this new Forsaken and Restricted list is to hit healing cards and damage and wound cards. But this is a really bad healing card, except for vampires. Now, you have to remember, there aren't many Warhammer Underworlds tournaments, so there's not much data to go off of. So it seems quite common if you go on the usage for, like, it's a common card. So I guess it's for vampires, but it's a dubious heal. I can get why but this is they're hitting healing tech. Okay, so they've hit Delicious Morsel, a card only vampires used. But okay, then we have Healing Potion. I don't need to tell you what Healing Potion does. It's a really like, personally, if you're hitting Healing Potion, something's wrong with the game. Like, it heals 1 or heals 2, and like, no matter where you stand on it, it's pretty bad you're hitting another essential card, especially Healing Potion. Like, I understand they don't want people healing for free, but really, like, it's just Healing Potion. And then we'll go Inured by Hunger. So also a common card, probably for vampires. It's a reaction upgrade. Use this after an attack action that targets that fighter. After the term of success, you remove all this fighter's hunger counts and reduce the damage by 1. So it's damage negation, again, for the vampires, because all hunger cards, basically vampire cards. So this is hitting the vampires. And then we've got Silent Helm, which don't really need to go over. It's a Silent Relic. If you have 3 or more, you get a nice bonus, but it discounts the first crit from an attack against the wearer as a normal success. So that actually makes sense to me, to get rid of that. You know, people were building quite tough characters with that. It's still restricted, but it should have been restricted a long time ago. And let's go to Spirit Comb. So Spirit Comb, no one was using this card. Choose one friendly fighter, heal 1 or heal 2 if that fighter has 3 or more upgrades. This is from the Silent Menace. Who was using this card? Why is this card being hit? I know you want to heal, like, deal with healing, but who was running this card? Even the website doesn't show anyone running this. Like, its usage is terrible, but they wanted to hit all healing cards. Then you've got Spirited Attempt. So let's go to the Crimson Court. So Spirited Attempt is scored as a melee after a fighter action that deals damage to a friendly fighter if that friendly is out of action. So if they get attacked and not killed, 1 glory. Kind of makes sense. I get that. They just want to hurt vampires because someone's been losing a lot to vampires in the playtesting team. But it makes sense. This is actually a really good objective that personally deserves restricting. Like, the reason we put it in there was because a lot of the vampire stuff was trash. So, makes sense. Then, oh dear, poor Canaan's Reapers. So, let's check what happened to Canaan's Reapers. So Canaan's Reaper's Hatred of the Living is awakened weapon, and you can discard it to reduce damage by 1. I think that's really good. I can kind of see why this was restricted. From speaking to other competitive players, Canaan's Reapers, while doing really well in like Relic and Relic Plus, Warlords format, Championship not so great. And it feels like a vindictive hit against Canaan's Reapers, who just like were walking one day and suddenly got hit by a car. You know what I mean? It's just like targeted harassment. I can see why it's been restricted. The problem is there's no data backing this up. But I think it's a powerful card, and I can understand their methodology behind restricting it. And then we've got Speed of the Flood Tide for Elethane Soul Raid, which is a surge. Score this after an activation if 3 or more friendly fighters are in enemy territory. Really easy, and probably should have been hit a long while ago. Same reason the Vampires had Spirited Attempt. That's it for restricted cards, by the way. Yeah. So, you know what? I get their methodology, right? They want to hit wound upgrades, they want to hit healing, and they want to hit damage. Yeah. So why haven't they hit Savage Strength? Like, they're hitting big guys, right? Why don't you hit Savage Strength? You clearly don't like Mollog. Savage Strength is a Mollog upgrade. There's other damage upgrades that are just missing. And I'm like, you've kind of hurt Horde/Swarm Warbands more than actually hurting the big warbands, which are what you're going for. So it's a very confusing Forsaken and Restricted list. It's not bad. Like, there are some good hits in there. But it's worrying the more the playtesters try to explain it. Because, yeah, it's like, I get what they're going with the game. And they're now saying, as I said, you know, they're going to design cards that are meant to be restricted, which I think is a very bad, slippery slope. I mean, look what happened to 40k, you know? But you have to remember, there's not enough tournaments going on. There's not enough data. And the tournaments are split between like Rivals Plus and Warlords, like formats that don't have a restricted list. And then you've got like your sporadic championship events. So the problem you have is there's not enough data. So it's basically the playtesters deciding what I'll hit. And like, you know, they speak to the people who play in Vassal, but it's more what the playtesters feel. So there's a lot of questionable cards. But I think it's an okay Forsaken and Restricted list. I don't think it's terrible. You just kind of have to see what the next one is. It's good this was regular. I think the last one was 3 months ago. And we might get one every 3 months, which would be nice. It's just, you know, obviously the article should explain more stuff. But I don't know. The playtesters haven't made it like a good explanation. You know, you still got all this other stuff restricted. Kind of questioning why they don't restrict the +1 damage from Mollog as well, and from Hrothgorn's Man-Trappers. You know, it's very interesting. I would say you could unrestrict Underdog with all this stuff you're changing, because the problem is they've restricted a lot of the +1 wound upgrades and the defensive upgrades, but they've left a lot of the +1 damage upgrades, because apparently, according to the playtesters, the new design methodology is they want 4 wounds to be the average/max, and they kind of want people just to die based on that threshold. But the problem is having 4 wounds is great as a goal, but if you're restricting, if there were more damage upgrades that are unrestricted compared to wound upgrades, you're going to have this weird thing where with the one-shot meta we had in Shadespire is just going to be everywhere, because everyone go, I can't really afford to, with the restricted slots, go up to like 5 wounds, and then everyone's just going, wow, I'm sneezing and I'm at damage 4, you're dead. Like, that's what I fear the game will go down towards, but we'll see. Like, as I said, it's not a bad restricted list, and Forsaken, like, a lot of people are going to be unhappy by it, and I can see why. Obviously, this will probably come with an article tomorrow, which will probably explain things better than the playtesters have. But yeah, it's not bad. Just, it's like this weird, questionable thing where they've, like, Spirit Comb. Really? That wasn't a meta thing. That feels like something they've, like, playtesters encountered amongst themselves, which may make sense. But yeah, I don't think it's as bad. It's okay. Like, there's definitely some deserving hits. Personally, I don't think Scant Resources needed to be banned. I think it was fine as a restricted card. Maybe it will get... I mean, the card only has like 3 months left in it or something before... Not 3 months, 6 months left before it gets rotated out. I think it would have been fine. But, yeah, you know, and they even restricted an Arena Moors card, so I feel really good, really good. But that's pretty much it. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment. I'll have a battle report coming out tomorrow. It's already scheduled. This is going to go up at like a weird time. So in the UK, you're either watching this at like 11 p.m. or in the morning on the Friday morning. But yes, let me just shout out to my patrons. You know, I'll shout out my core ones. So thanks to Tarun, Michael, and Theodore as my adepts of the crits. And then I've got Samja and Confucius as my veteran of the crits. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Once again, I have a battle report up tomorrow. The only shout-outs I can think are, if you're interested in playing Underworlds but don't want to invest yet, Vassal is a really good place to learn. It's linked in my Discord. There are a lot of people there who help you. It's a really useful way to play because it has everything, and it's a really good simulator. And my remaining Underworlds viewers, I guess that's pretty much it. So remember, until you get Forsaken, you can't be stopped from rolling a crit.